Hello ladies and gentlemen, Central here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day as always. The footage you're watching in the background is not from War Aesthetics, and it also was not filmed in the 80s, although it does look like it was because it was filmed on a camera from the 80s. The grainy 4x3 footage you're watching was actually filmed September the 26th of 2009, and that was a very, very special day for me because that was the day of my first solo. And for those of you who haven't experienced solo before, your first solo experience, it's hard to describe. I've spoken with other pilots, and we all pretty much have the same thing to say about it. You know, it's just one of those handful of unique first-time experiences that you're going to have in life. It's one of those times when you're 100% lucid, you're in the moment, it's just you, the airplane, and the task at hand. So, just one of those things that's hard to describe, but a very special, very important moment in a pilot's life. Now, my particular solo was made extra special because the aircraft that I was flying, it was an old, crusty Cessna 172 Foxtrot, very old, sort of abused airplane. Hard to see at this distance, but once you see it a little bit closer up, you'll see that it was in pretty bad shape. I think the avionics actually were worth more than the airframe. So it was kind of a low-budget thing, but it was the airplane that we had access to with a local flying club. And, yeah, what made it kind of interesting is that while I was in the pattern for my first solo, of course, you're going to fly the pattern, you're going to make your call-outs like you normally would. After I turned on crosswind and went to downwind and made my call for downwind, when I released the push-to-talk button, it popped out of its socket and landed in my lap. So it basically disassembled itself during the solo. Now, fortunately, my home airfield is non-towered, it's very quiet, there's no traffic hardly. Actually, traffic has picked up in recent years more than it used to be while I was learning to fly. But even still, a very quiet airfield, so it didn't really matter that I couldn't transmit, but you know, it was one of those things. Had I been somewhere that was towered, somewhere with a little bit busier airspace, it would have been a bit frustrating. But yeah, so that happened. But the reason I'm showing this footage is because, you know, I did have to take a very long break from flying. After this solo, I flew for another couple of years, but it was off and on, and I didn't finish out my certificate, and ended up being a situation where I was running low on funds, low on time, and the flying club that I had access to for this airplane ended up breaking up, so it disappeared as well. It was just very inconvenient, very bad timing, and so I kind of had to shelve my aspirations of finishing out my certificate and of moving on to flying for a living, which is what I had initially planned on doing. But I recently had the opportunity, you know, having worked for several years now, having earned a good bit of money and saved it up over the years, had the opportunity to buy my own aircraft. So that's what I did. I ended up buying a 1980 Sundowner, Beechcraft Sundowner C-23, which compared to the Cessna that I used to fly is a very nice airplane. Obviously not the best performer, but it is a solid plane, very strong for the time period it was built in, and although it doesn't have the largest useful load, doesn't have the highest top speed, it is a very fun plane to fly, very nimble, very solid, and of course you will be seeing more and more of that aircraft in the months and years to come. Now, that being said, because I am getting back into flying in real life, that is going to affect this channel somewhat. I have uploaded video from various flight sims, whether it be X-Plane or Rise of Flight or the IL-2 series, on a fairly regular basis. Typically I get one video up every week. Occasionally I might get 2, maybe even 3, but typically about 1 video a week. So you're looking at about 4 videos a month, maybe 5. That has been actually kind of difficult to pull off. That plus my regular work schedule, plus regular activities with the family and things like that. It's been kind of difficult to keep that pace up, but I've been able to pull it off. That is no longer going to be the case. In order for me to get back into flying and get my certificate, finish that up, and pursue other additional certificates, I'm going to have to take some time to actually go out and fly in real life. Now, it's not all bad news, although I will have to cut back video production. Some of the videos that I'm going to be producing are going to be real-life flying, so if you're interested in that, you're going to love the footage that I'm able to produce here shortly. I will have to get a few more cameras, so I am looking at that, but I definitely want to transition slowly but surely away from flying sims, more into real-life flying. I don't know how much it's going to affect video production. I'm going to try and keep videos coming out as regularly as possible, but it definitely is going to be reduced. Could be as little as 1 or 2 videos a month, especially early on during the last bit of training and getting my certificate finished out. And I really do hope that you guys stick with me through this, because it is going to be getting more and more interesting from here. I plan on not only flying my own personal airplane and putting that up on the channel, but I'm going to look at flying other aircraft in real life as well, if at all possible, and get that up. I ultimately want this to become the main focus of the channel, is real life flying. That's what I did originally before I got involved with the flight sims. The flight sims were really just a placeholder for me until I could get back into the air for real. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to announce is my transition again from flight sims to real life flying. Now, I'm not going to completely drop the flight sims. I'll still produce flight sim content, and that will still be up on the channel. However, it's going to be a little bit of a mix of the two, and I'm hoping that it's going to lean a little bit more toward the real life flying. And again, some of what you see here you should be able to apply to the sims as well, and see sort of how what you do in sims relate to real life aircraft. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, guys. I do hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you will continue to watch and support the channel as I transition to this next phase. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.